man. Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk shop with old school. I have with me today a very legendary individual. He brought us the W, which stands for Watts. He also popularized the tight neck white t-shirts. This brother is also responsible for appearing on our favorite soundtrack, Boys in the Hood, with a single entitled Every Single Weekend. This brother has also supported the gang troops in 92 with a song called Peace Treaty. This brother is a father, a husband, and all around what we call in Cali, a real one. He also went to war with not only your favorite rapper, my favorite rapper. He is none other than Kam. What's up, brother? Did I do your intro right, man? Did I give you a good intro?
Yeah, it might be too good.
I'm trying to get my Shannon Sharp on, man. Shannon Sharp be giving some cold interviews with his, the productions. Yeah. But check it out, man. I want to start by asking you, man. I know you from Watts/Compton, but where is your family originally from?
My family is literally from Watts, right? So half of my childhood, the majority of my childhood was between Watts and Compton. So it's like in a little district where Martin Luther King Hospital is at, called Willowbrook. They call it Willowbrook now, right? But it's not Compton and it's not across Imperial and Watts, so it's a little middle zone. But my mother, she was born on 107th Street. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like something like The Godfather. You know what I'm saying? My pops went to Fremont. You know what I'm saying? And so we all little East Side babies, East Side children. But I grew up. Like I said, I went to Carver, George Washington Carver Elementary School. So I'm right there, across Imperial, across from the Nickerson Garden. So, that's my upbringing. I spent.
So your upbringing was in the Nickersons?
No, in that area.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
right.
In that district. So okay. I grew up, I grew up, running in Compton, but I also grew up in Watts and in that little middle ground. So anybody that knows, that area know what I'm talking about. But I intentionally, try to stay off the blue and red subject. You know what I'm saying?
And now, how you do that? How you do that? That's that, because you know what? Being from California, period, our culture is gang related. So how did you stay neutral like that?
Well, I didn't stay neutral like that, but once I became a Muslim, once I joined, the Nation of Islam and saw what the real identity is, which is indigenous, which is black, it's not blue or red or brown or, you know what I'm saying? Even Mexicans is not really the brown race. So once I started learning the knowledge of myself and my own kind, and I saw the Willie Lynch behavioral psychological warfare of how we divide each other, then I made a promise to God at a certain time when I was like 18, 19, and to my brother, because I was doing my little thing, whatever, in the streets, and I would get myself in certain things that nobody could get me out of, but this Allah that my brother was just now getting into, my older brother. So once Allah got me out of it, I made a promise that I would never perpetuate, I would never promote, certain divisionary type aspects of how we grew up no more. And my main focus, if I'm gonna press a line or if I'm, be on some gangster type time, is gonna be against the real enemy that I was introduced to, that I was taught about. So that's why I just intentionally, I grew up in a blue neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? So my neighborhood is from the blue side, but I intentionally spelled my name with a K-A-M, you know what I'm saying? And this is in the late 80s, early 90s, where black consciousness, like when people was wearing the African medallions and the X hats and that whole little era, we was trying to do acts of unity and acts of, you know what I'm saying, bridging the gap and not following them same Willie Lynch curses. So, you know, even on the West Side, like, you know, a lot of dudes, not without mentioning no specific section, you know, they was known for wearing red and just doing stuff that was against the rules on the East Side where we came up, but we saw the logic in it. Sometimes it was for deception purposes, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But other times it was still a liberating, freeing manhood thing. Like, hey, I ain't gonna be, you know, restricted to just, you know, this color. Like I really am from where I'm from. I can wear whatever. Cause so, you know, it's just little logics like that I start seeing and I start implementing at an early age. Cause I was disappointed, you know, you know, yeah, and you see it all day now. I ain't like and I'm gonna get off of this, you know, but the streets now, like all the codes and all that is over with.
Yeah,
Some of us seen that it was over with at an early age, like, these niggas left me for dead, or, you know, niggas ain't real, you know what I'm saying? Or your main section is the ones plotting on you, and, you know, a lot, you know, just like Nip or whatever politics that's going on in house, like I may as well as, you know what I'm saying?
right.
So I saw that at an early age in my fresh out of high school. I seen it even before that. You know what I'm saying?
Now let me ask you this, because you got me by a few years.
Mm-hmm.
What was life like growing up in the late 70s through that 80s period in Watts, LA, and Compton? Because you saw it from the beginning. You know what I mean? You might have been a little kid, but you was there to see the introduction to all of everything what it is today. What was it like back then?
Well, for me personally and my family, not just because of that, it was a nightmare. Like, you know, my childhood was hell. You know what I'm saying? For different reasons, for, you know, my personal family reasons and health reasons and losing siblings at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff I didn't understand, and we was poor, and 3 or 4 generations of people in one house, family members in one house. Then I was raised like Christian, like, you know, and I just was totally mind effed. You know what I'm saying? Just like the majority of us was through slavery. You know, the stuff that we got put through for 400 years. So that was running deep in my household, in my family. So it wasn't really no escape. Like the streets, the homies like was an escape, but it was a escape of a brotherhood of, you know, little homies that was suffering the same thing. So we, you know, we'll take our traumas out on each other, and like it was you know, it was rough. So to see the Willie Lynch COINTELPRO advance and evolution of self-destruction, especially of black males in the late 70s and the early mid 80s, it was hell. It was all bad. We didn't know it was hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. Like, but you know, I had a real, you know, unpleasant childhood. You know what I'm saying?
Now, did you come from a 2-parent household?
Nah, no. So I think I was maybe 4 or 5 or something like that. Last I remember, you know, because my parents wasn't married. You know what I'm saying? When I was conceived, I think they got married after I got conceived, and then I remember living in Inglewood, like 83rd and 7th Ave. I think Inglewood family. That's my first interaction or first memory of gangs. It wasn't even on the East Side. It was I guess because I was old enough now, 5 or some years old, that I seen, you know, something, you know, that didn't look right. You know, it was wild. So that's when I came online to street stuff. Probably when I was like 5 or 6, and I forgot the question, but, you know, you just taking me on memory lane.
No, you good. You good. You good.
Yeah. So that's when my parents broke up though, like because they was in an abusive relationship. My pops, he just passed. May God be pleased with him. He was a LAPD or a detective or something, and he was abusive. And my mom almost chopped my head off trying to shoot him. You know what I'm saying? Because they was so that's why they even split. You know what I'm saying? Because of their abusive relationship with each other. So my mama took me back to where she was born and raised on the east side in Watts or Compton, and that's really where I grew up. So I lived with my grandparents the majority of my childhood life. So like I said, my grandparents is my uncle, my mother, us. So it's like three generations in one little house. In the middle of a little war zone, in the middle of dope, rock, cocaine, and all
Right.
when guns and the drugs first hit. So it was the wrong place. It was the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right. Right. Now, did you have a good relationship with your pops?
Nah, not at all. I had no relationship with him.
None at all.
None at
And,
all.
and you know what, man? You'd be surprised how many of us share that same sentiment. You know what I mean? In my age group, I don't know I don't have not one homeboy that has a relationship with his father like the Huxtables, including myself. Including myself. That shit was only for TV. You know what I mean? But that's for another story. I could share mine too, man.
Yeah.
But now back in those days when you were coming up, did you see more black business establishments than you do today?
Not really. I wasn't even conscious of black business.
Right.
So everything.
Go ahead, brother. I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah. It might have been like a little dairy or something where a black person was working at, or like an old mom and pops, but that might just been one throughout the whole neighborhood, throughout the whole section. So it wouldn't even be considered a black business. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Now, you know what? I bring that up because I wasn't conscious of that either.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure just as you are, our grandparents, they were entrepreneurs. I
Right.
know mine was. The men of that day, they were entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
My grandfather and his brothers, they had a barbecue spot.
Mm.
Uh, Back then in LA, man, you remember the ABC supermarket?
Yep.
I heard that was black owned. I didn't know that. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
But you remember the TV show South Central with Lorenz Tate?
Yeah, I never watched it. I heard of it though.
It was Lorenz Tate. He was in that show, and Earl Billings or Clifton Powell.
Yeah.
I forget which one of them dudes. They played the owner of a grocery store because the mother in that show, she used to go get groceries. You know what I mean? When she ain't have money, he was able to give her groceries. And later on, it came out that they was depicting this show. I mean, excuse me, they was depicting the supermarket ABC. It was black owned. And it was always in black areas because they didn't have no ABC in Long Beach.
Right.
They only had them in LA, the heart of LA back then. You know what I mean? And I saw more black people than anything back then. It was other races and everything, but we was the majority. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw that as the population, but as far as the businesses, I didn't never pay attention. Like I know in Compton, like on Wilmington and Alondra, one of my homies, father owned Miracle Market. That's right across the street from the Compton Airport and Park Village. So Miracle Market was a black-owned little mom and pop grocery store. It wasn't no chain. It wasn't no chain of stores. and then like the Hawkins burgers, you know what I'm saying? You
Off
know,
Imperial.
yeah. So stuff like that, but that was just few and far between. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't no.
And I'm glad you brought up. I'm glad you, not to cut you off, brother. I'm glad you brought up Hawkins, right? Because we did have a lot of black businesses. And my question to you would be, why do you think, what do you think was the downfall of black businesses? Because we had a lot of moms and pop stores, just like Hawkins. Hawkins, man, if anybody was ever to be able to sneak over to Hawkins and get a burger, them was the bombest burgers that you ever put in your mouth. But only the bounty hunters was able to, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody else, people from my section, I'm like, man, cause we ain't trying to fight to get no burger. We ain't trying to risk, you know, and that's how you know in the black neighborhoods, man. If this how you know if the food is gonna be good. If you could lose your life there, the food is amazing. You know what I mean? It's the bomb. You know what I mean? But I think that the gangs destroyed our black businesses. You know what I mean?
Who created the gang? So are we gonna blame the gangs or were the gangs created in products of COINTELPRO?
No, they were, and I'm 100% in agreement. But expound on that.
Yeah, so it's like gangs and all that in LA is all spinoffs of the Nation of Islam and the Black Panthers. That's where all the gangs came from, basically, right? And the way that the Nation of Islam and the Black Panthers and, you know, organizations like that was destroyed is through agent provocateurs, through agents of the FBI, the U.S. government, the J. Edgar Hoover COINTELPRO. So the same way that they plant they people, of course they black, you know what I'm saying, but you know, since the time of Jesus, you know, there was always Judases. There's always going to be a snitch. There's always going to be somebody that's going to trade or turn, sell you out, whatever, for their own personal cowardness or weakness or greed or whatever their reasons is. So that's what happened among us. These same people that brought us over here as slaves, that they used the technology, behavioral science, behavioral warfare science on us, that taught us how to divide and conquer and keep us fighting at each other and looking at each other as the enemy instead of the one that we all know is the common enemy. Like, you know, you get locked up and you behind the wall and you see who running the show in that tower, the towers, or the, you know, gun tower or whatever. Then you know, it's no secret. We know that, but it's like a road runner, Bugs Bunny road runner, like little mental governor, hypnotic program that they put in black people that you can't touch the white man. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can do something to a nigga. I can kill a nigga. You know what I'm saying? I can go head up like a nigga bullets don't hurt as bad as the white man's bullets. Like, nigga stand up and shoot it out like face to face, not ducking and running. And nothing. You running towards the nigga that's shooting at you, and no, them bullets ain't gonna do you the same as like. So subconsciously, we thought that white people are divine. We thought God is white, the Son of God is Jesus. So if Jesus is white, then God must be white. So their bullets are blessed. Right. Their bullets won't just kill your body, their bullets will kill your soul.
That's right.
Know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of mental poisoning that we always had, which allowed them to divide us and have us going at each other instead of going at them as the real enemy. So if you plant black people in black organizations and fund them, because you know they was funded also, you know, they give you money, they'll give you guns, they'll give you dope, they'll give you support. You won't get locked up. How this nigga get out? Why this nigga not locked up? Like, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't like dudes be punks neither. Like, a lot of these dudes was hitters. So you're not gonna punk them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Now you know what? I agree with that, but I also put the blame on us too.
Oh
Because
yeah,
we know that. We know
right.
that information. We know that, COINTEL is out there. We know all of that. But yet and still, we still choose to inflict pain on our own kind, right? Like my last interview, I was speaking to a brother named Chill. He up out of man, where he out of? He you 16 to life. 16 to life. And he said, I asked him about the tap in. I was like, man, what you think about this check-in culture? I seen a couple of brothers from the East Coast out there in the 6'9" East Coast. They pressed this brother and took his food, man. And it was a brother. And watching that, I was like, damn, it disgusted me. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna just be transparent. I ain't no saint, Cam. I did my thing, but
Any of us?
that's it. But let me tell you this. One thing I pride myself on me, I ain't never stole nothing from a black person. I ain't never did nothing to my own kind. My own kind can never come back, and nobody out there can say he did this to me that looked like me, right? Even though I was with the Crippin' and all of that, I was with my black shit. I'm on my black shit. You know what I mean? And to see us come to where we are today, it's like, nah, man, I get it. We went through that. But now we perpetuating this stuff on our own. You know what I mean? So to elaborate on that, in your opinion, how do you think we lost our sense of community?
Through integration, you know what I'm saying? For us thinking that we should be able to mix, like it was going to be a benefit to mix with our former slave masters real intimately like that. And
Right.
the other part is we never got repaired from the damage that was done to us for the last 400 something years. So reparations, and we're not just talking about money reparations, we're talking about psychological reparations, therapy.
Right.
Ain't nobody got worse, in America especially, ain't nobody got worse PTSD
And we do.
than we do, the black male. The black male. That's why it's a shortage of black males to the population of black females in America. Black females outnumber us around 2 million.
Right.
By 2 million, right? And it's not because, the equal amount of male and female sperm ain't going out and fertilizing eggs. Is because once we get here, like the Bible or whatever say, it was a plot by the Pharaoh, by the former slave masters that, they seen us multiplying after 400 years of them enslaving us. And then they said, come on, we got to deal wisely with them because they multiplying. So we fear that they might, during a time of war, join on to an enemy of ours and come against us for what we did to them for the last 400 years. So the plan they came up with is kill the males and spare and spoil the females. Kill the males, talking about black males, and spare and spoil the black female. So now it's an imbalance because we naturally supposed to be the authority and a provider and a protector and supposed to respect us and all of that. But now if it's a shortage, now they feel like they on their own. So now they're going to adopt welfare and WIC and the government, and they're going to replace the black man. And so many black women went along with that bait and bit that apple again, or that forbidden type fruit, and went along with that play and started believing it. They didn't say, okay, we know this is the slave master, baby. I know, he trying to just X you out the household and X you out the family, and you know what I'm saying. But I'm going to get this little WIC money or welfare money or his little grants or his little scholarship, and I'm gonna use it for you, baby. So help fund your independent black business so you can take care of us like the man that we used to have or whatever. So the black women didn't accept that. They didn't accept it as a play. They took it serious and was like, okay, we the shit. We don't need no man, or we, we Boston, we equality. Like, so they fed into the whole feminism, satanic feminism, destroying the nuclear family, destroying the man's natural authority and natural role. And, that's what we suffering from. Like we said at the beginning of the interview, most of the incarcerated black men is from single black mother homes.
Right.
If there was a father in the picture, then most often if it's a father in the household, or if he's a single father, the sons ain't going to jail. The sons ain't gonna have no prison record or no jail record. That's
Right.
statistical facts.
Right.
So it comes down to gassing our sisters, our women's head up that you don't need that man, or if a man make you cry, he's no good, or men is cheaters, men is dogs. So you don't. So they gas them up with some spoil them and spare them and make them think that they don't need us, which is handicapping the new generation. It's handicapping the children. So eventually we're gonna grow up and be the kind of women that y'all can't respect.
Right. Right. Now it's after Kevin Samuels and
Men, the kind of men that women can't respect.
Yeah. Right. Now after the death of Kevin Samuels and post or pre the death of Kevin Samuels, it's been this thing amongst black men and black women. You see this war amongst black men and black women. I looked at a post what you said last night. I saw it last night.
Yeah.
About Diddy.
Right.
How everybody is up in arms about how Diddy did Cassie. And that is by no means, I don't condone none of that.
Right.
That was a horrible thing.
Yeah.
But as you said, being from LA, and not just being from LA, being black
in America,
yeah. We seen more done from our mothers to us. And nobody has it seems that nobody has an outrage about that. So speak on that a little bit, because you caught me with that one yesterday. Speak on that a little bit more, man.
Yeah, so it comes from my observation so far. It comes from the childhood trauma of black women of America who were innocent at one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
In their innocence, childhood, they got violated, sexually violated,
right,
physically abused and verbally abused, but we talking about sexual violence, by a black male.
Mm-hmm.
It could be their father, it could be their uncle, their grandfather, their brother, their cousin, their neighbor, but some black male actually violated them sexually when they was young and innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now if you violate it like that alters your mental and spiritual belief system and your moral system. Like, so if people is after that telling you about God, and you're supposed to be like this, and you're supposed to do good, a woman and a male, but we just talking about women. We're gonna get into males being molested and stuff. Women, the ones that gets penetrated, you know what I'm saying, and that's her nature to actually interact with a man sexually or sex organs later on in life. But if one violated, if one was used as a weapon to violate it when she was young and helpless and weak and innocent, then she gonna look at life different. She gonna look at God different. She gonna look at males different, men different, black males especially different. And if it's somebody close to her, she gonna look at any close black man that's supposed to be her husband or son or whatever. All that's affecting her. You know what I'm saying? So she don't even realize that as an innocent victim, now she's becoming a victimizer. It might take a while until she becomes a mother and she got a black son or a black daughter. Then that's gonna key in and kick in, and she gonna do what was done to her. The fact that we even whip our children the way we whip, we got that from slavery. That wasn't the way we disciplined our children. You know what I'm saying? Before we came in contact with the devil, with these slave people, slave masters people. So now we got that in our DNA. Now that's part of our culture. You know, you think that's being a good mother or a strong mother because I beat the shit out of my daughter and she thought she was puffing up next to me just because she having her little titties now, or my son, you know, he think he a man now, so I got to be a bigger man. I got to be like his daddy and punch him in the face and sling him around while I still got the power to do that, to prove that I can fuck you up like Diddy did Cassie.
Right.
So it's the same thing. Like, when is violence to anybody ever okay? Right? If it's not okay for Diddy, then women don't get DPs. Like, you know what I'm saying? You respect gang banging dudes that you know we DP niggas for a living. This is what we do for our lifestyle.
Right.
And then you want to girls that banging, this little Lex, you know, that banging, they DP on a regular basis, but you know, you acting like, you know, or people, males too. This ain't just females. Men is saying that's terrible. You should never do that. Okay, well, that's Cassie, and I'm not justifying that, is terrible. But Cassie is a young adult that signed up for that. Just like if you gang bang, you signed up. You get beat up worse than that to get put on the hood. You get beat up worse than that, and they come get this DP. It's gonna be worse than that.
Right.
Everybody knows that.
Right.
But when it comes to now this public whatever, nobody is supposed to do a woman like that. The woman can do a child like that. Woman can do another woman like that. Woman can do a dude like that. Women can call the police and get you killed, get you beat up, you know what I'm saying, get you locked up. But it's all blindness when it comes to when the woman now becomes the same or worse type of victimizer to an innocent child that's not big enough or strong enough to resist, even as much as Cassie was.
Right.
Same ratio of power and strength dynamic. Adult mother is the same strength of Diddy over Cassie, you know, to her child.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The child is going to bleed. The child is going to have, you know, black eyes and, you know, trauma and hear the words. Like, so it's no different. And let alone, and I don't want to touch on this, but I got to just to make this point, right? The most innocent creature is a baby, and especially an unborn baby. In America, black women lead in abortions. 100 or 500,000, 500 million abortions every year in America alone, just black women. Right? So is that worse? Is what we doing to our own children, unborn children, worse than what Diddy is doing or did to Cassie or whatever, right? If we had a video of you collaborating with this satanic Planned Parenthood surgeon doctor, and we got a video of you allowing him to cut your little baby arm off and cut his leg off and cut his and suck up chunks of your little baby, would we be more outraged than we are at Diddy? You know, because that's your body, your choice. You can't say that some man forced me to go get this abortion and do this to this child. Because you can't have my body, my choice at your convenience. All of this is your choice. Even when Cassie was there, she chose to be there, right? He didn't go, you know, as far as I know, you know what I'm saying? You know, you can choose to leave whenever you choose to leave, just like a lot of our mothers did. If our father start beating her, yeah, leave. You know what I'm saying?
Get out of there.
Yeah, I would probably try to delete you or something. I'm a product of that. That's why my mama left my pops, because somebody was going to delete. And I almost was the one that got deleted because she was trying to pop at him and almost blew my head off. Right. So I understand all of that, but we can't act holy, like you said. You know, we all got dirt. Don't act like you can throw stones and you from a glass house. Don't act like, you know, let he or she that's without sin cast the first Diddy stone around his mouth.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's really my point. Not saying that none of it is cool. It's terrible, but it's good that we saw Diddy doing that, so we could see how terrible that shit really is. Because your shit ain't on video. So should you run your mouth or should you shut the hell up and try to figure out another way to deal with this problem?
That's right. Now, I pay attention to the things that you post, man, because I follow you on Facebook. I pay attention to the things that you post, and it's right in line with what's going on. So where do you see us going as black men and women? The future, as far as the future, black men and women. You know what I mean?
in relationship to each
Yes,
other,
relationships to each other. Yes.
yeah, it's gonna get worse to make it be able to get better, because it's a gross disrespect of each other. The roles, the natural roles, is all the way backwards and out of whack now. So, neither one is going to respect each other. So that means neither one can properly protect each other, and we don't even necessarily want to. But we got the same thing that caused the gang truce in '92 is what's going to have to happen for Black women, men and women, to get back together. It has to be a greater enemy that's doing us both worse than we doing each other, for us to get back together like we supposed to, and that's on the way. That's happening right now. It's really going to happen in the form of the fallout from this Israel Palestine stuff and what that's doing to the U.S. dollar. All of us that worship the bag, all of us independent boss Black bitches, big boss chicks that's priding themselves and making more money than the Black men. All of that's finna not mean nothing. The U.S. dollar's value is finna collapse. All the stuff that you banking on, that's your security, my 401k, my pension, my this, my that, finna be worthless out the window. So now the real value in currency is gonna be these little dudes that know how to flock, that know how to do home invades, that been knowing how to survive on these streets, living from house to house, park bench to park bench, that you said was not worthy for you to give them your attention. These is the real soldiers that's been prepared for guerrilla warfare and survival and militia and all of that. That's going to be your only protection. So if you already shitted on them and already, threw them under the bus and humiliated them and clowned them, what's the odds they going to protect you? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You think you got a gun? Well, I got gun. I know how to shoot. You don't know how to shoot better than these niggas that's in these streets every day. The ones that you say ain't worthy and ain't no quality men. I bet you they quality in that subject. I bet you they know how to kick in your motherfucking door and tie you up.
Right.
Or stop another nigga, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's my girl, that's my homie, she good, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the real value. That it's gonna be some Mad Max, some Thunderdome, Escape from New York, Escape from LA type stuff. And you're gonna see the real value of these men that you disrespect.
That's real talk. That's real talk. And they need to see that. Not all, because we got sisters out there that got our back, but for the ones that don't, they definitely are gonna need to see that. Now, to switch it up just a little bit, what do you think about Black and brown relationships?
Black, brown, you're talking about the Mexican,
Right.
that's part of the original Black indigenous family. So the
Mm-hmm.
same ignorance that we suffer from as Black people that got Bloods and Crips fighting each other, GDs, BDs, Vice Lord, you know what I'm saying? They suffered the same Willie Lynch poison because they was conquered by the same snake we was. Our devil was a white English devil. Theirs was a white Spaniard devil. So Spain is Europe. That's the same Caucasian as the English. They just speak Spanish, and they came over here and did the native indigenous Moors or Black Indians the same way that the English whites did us in Africa. The only reason that they look different is because they from a tribe of Black nation. The Indians are Black. They're not red.
Right.
Moors, so by them having straight hair and thinner nose and thinner lips, when the white Spaniard Europeans conquered them and raped they women and mixed blood with them, they produced Mexicans that look more Euro or look more white. They don't have the kinky hair or the wide nose and nothing like that, but they're still Black. They're just as Black as we are, but they don't know it because they've been taught the same anti-Black, anti-Semitic, racist Willie Lynch, poison that we had. So they say, I ain't no Mayakta home, fuck them niggas home. Like, they won't never say that about the Nation of Islam. They won't never say that about no Black people that actually know who we are, know our history, and that's warriors on that level, because we recognize them as our natural brothers, just like we recognize a Blood as our natural brother or a Crip, you know what I'm saying? So we all know that that's COINTELPRO satanic division, Willie Lynch division. But if those little foot soldier, little hitter, essays that's in the street. Like you gotta defend yourself. I'm not just gonna lay down and let you do this or do that because you following some poison, instructions. But your big homies, your G's that's behind the walls, them is the historians and the scientists. Them is the ones that know the history and the connection with the blacks, the pyramids of Egypt and the pyramids of Mexico and the Olmecs and the Toltecs, Incas, the Mayas. Them is all original black people. But they know that niggas is wild and without discipline and reckless. So they got to have some wild little, no discipline, reckless crash dummies on their army to deal with our dumb ones. So somebody got to have the wisdom to say what I'm saying. Oh, these niggas, when I've been at this for decades, 3 decades. I was always black and brown, Cam. Saying, oh, they don't care about us, nigga. They the main ones. Blah 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 blah. Like, yeah, well, Mexicans ain't killing us more than we killing us. We got more bodies, against each other than the Mexicans got against us. So what like you said, what's our excuse? We are worse enemy.
Right. You know what? I agree with that, but I gotta give you some pushback on this right here. Right. We the only one that pushed that narrative, what you just said. I never heard a Mexican say we got to do this for the brown and black. When they take care of their stuff, they take care of themselves. They don't include us on nothing. I only hear our people saying black and brown.
So you know why that is?
And here's another thing, man. I was fortunate to work with the Compton Fire Department, right? Station 3, right off Rosecrans. What's that park right there?
Rosecrans or what?
Rosecrans, right there at the fire department. Rosecrans, in between
West Side
Paru. What's that park? Is that
Gonzales?
Nah, man.
Gonzales.
Gonzales. That's Gonzales Park, right there. Man, let me tell you something. I myself, me being a hood dude, I'm from Long Beach. Right? Ain't no Bloods in Long Beach, but I know a gang of people from the West Side. Right. I mean, I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about the Wackos, the E-Bones, the G-Boys, all of them, right? Because my homeboy Ramsey, right? Now, the Joker rests in peace. Man, we would be on that radio and we would listen to the Flats. When the Flats was putting their work down, man, they was putting it down. I responded to all of that. I only responded to one issue where a black gang got off on the SA gang, and that was with the Santanas.
Right.
I'm telling you, man, the West Side Parus and the Nutty Blocks, they was going at it all the time. I didn't see no black gangs attacking no Hispanics. Only that one time. And let me tell you something, Cam. I saw it so much. Right behind the Compton courthouse. Some essays got laid down. And we responded to this here. And, we got to wait till the sheriffs get there to clear the scene. Man, when I pulled up in the dude, the sheriff asked him, man, he said, who did this to you? He said, I don't know, some black guys. Let me tell you something, man. And I don't know if I should feel bad for saying this, but I'm gonna be real. Out of all of the times out, they was like, oh, it was a Mexican. They was from Flats. They was from CV70. All of this. Out of all of that, man, when I heard that essay say, I don't know, man, it was a black dude. In my mind, I said, yes, thank you. Now they people get to cry. You know what I mean? And I got SA homies. We all have SA homies on an individual basis, but they know what they people do. They know how they people feel about us. We be the ones that tiptoe around the subject. We always got to make it seem like it's peaceful, but it's not. It's really not. And it starts from behind them walls. If you've been behind them walls, you know.
That's not where it starts from. So that's
well, okay. far as from the street aspect of it. I know where you're going with it, but
you can't. But that's part of our problem. We can't start on the branches and the leaves. You'll never cure nothing dealing with the symptoms. You got to go to the cause. You got to go to the root. You got to go to the seed of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, like I said, I don't know how old you are. You know what I'm saying? I'll be 55 this year, right? So
I'm half 100 myself.
Yeah. So I was there when, you know, before, when we was abusing Mexicans. We was the abusers.
Yeah. You're right.
I'm talking about brutally, gruesomely, right?
Right.
You know, and they wasn't the majority like yet. You know, they were still in Mexico, and half, the majority of 3/4 of the United States is Mexico. That was robbed from Mexico. This is their indigenous land. This is not black people's land. We was brought over here by the same enemy, and you know, it's our land because our blood, you know, and sweat and tears for the last 400 years built this, what they call America. But the actual land belonged to our indigenous brothers and sisters that we call aliens, and we say they coming and taking our jobs and all this kind of stuff. We're not going far enough into the history of it, right? So I was there, like I know, and this is like the late 70s, right? The movie Roots.
And in the 80s too.
The movie Roots. Remember the movie Roots, right?
Right.
When the movie Roots came out, I think that was 1976, 1978. It was like the late 70s. Might be in 1978. I was in elementary school. I was going to Carver Elementary School. And that's where the abuse really started, right? Because we did not know, the ignorant black masses, when that movie, that TV show hit, it was a whole series that woke us up emotionally to, you know, to the white people as being the enemy and who we should really hate and we should really, you know, get even with. And we thought that Mexicans was white. And we did these Mexicans so terribly for so long, like, you know what I'm saying? And then once, you know, dope hit, because you know, in the 80s, the early 80s, so 2 or 3 years after that, the dope hit and all that. And these behavioral scientists, these COINTELPRO people that destabilize governments for a living, they saw the response of that movie and how we didn't yet know the difference between Mexicans and whites because they was light skinned and hair was straight. So we thought that they was just, you know, the same thing. So that forced Mexicans to start producing their own little cliques and gangs, same way that we produce Bloods and Crips to stop from the spooks or the white people from abusing us.
Right.
They developed their little threshes and they cliques and they CV70, CV thresh, tortilla flash. They developed all of that from Southern, from behind the border, from TJ, from Tijuana. You know what I'm saying? Because they heard the abuses and the brutalities that we was ignorantly doing to them, thinking that we was black conscious and we was retaliating for what, you know, they did to Kunta Kinte and what they did to us for the last 400 years. That's how I'm a witness of how we thought. Like my whole school, this is before race riots and all that stuff was happening. We started these little race riots in elementary school. The abuse, I'm talking about doing them dirty, and they wasn't the majority. So once, you know, they people start coming back over, you know what I'm saying, and migrating and coming across the board, and they start squad. We forced them to squad up, and unfortunately, they squatted up to defend themselves against us. Dope hit, nigga. We was jacking them. We was, you know, doing, you know, laying them down, and you know what I'm saying, like it you know. So we can't act like it just started right then. You know what I'm saying? We got to take our accountability for our ignorance, our wildness, and how we was manipulated and used by the same enemy once again that always has us at each other's throat and focusing on, because once you on the battleground, you ain't got time to think of who's the real enemy that started this. Nigga, I got to deal with this right here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm gonna be so occupied dealing with these ops and these. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to even think about who started this shit.
Now, you know what, man? I'm gonna tell you. This why I wanted to have this interview with you, because I viewed you more as just a rapper, right? I could hear in your lyrics you was intelligent, you intellectual, you know. And man, let me tell you something. I ain't never felt like how you just made me feel explaining that, because it makes sense, right? Here it is. What you just explained to me is the same reason why you got youngsters right now beefing with a hood. They 18 years old and they beefing with other people their age, but don't even know how the beef even started. But it continues to go, right? Now, again, I gotta say though, you know that. I didn't know that information. This the first time I heard that, man, and it's amazing to hear that. But some of them know that too. That's why they teach their children. They teach their children that and their grandchildren that. So is it, I mean, we can't say it's over with. You know, we got to come to the tables with both parties and be like, hey, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. How can we reconcile this to where we can stop this? Because in Cali, man, Cali got me. And I don't even live in Cali no more, man. But
not to cut you off, but the example is already there, and you're talking to one of the examples. That's why the Mexicans they don't view the Nation of Islam, the FOI, this black army and these soldiers and warriors the way that they view Crips and Bloods, and you know, it's a reason. It's called respect. It's called mutual respect. It don't mean lovey-dovey, kumbaya, we love each other, and you know what I'm saying, you know, it means we respect. We understand what happened to both of us. We understand that this is wartime and war shit is going to happen. We understand that there's agents and plants and people that's going to kick off some shit from that's going to get planted in our organization, and people that's going to get planted in your organization to keep a war going against us. So that's why they was always, you know, they didn't lose as much as we lost. Mexicans didn't lose as much culture and unity and codes as we lost.
right.
Every race that come here and migrate, they teach them against the niggas. It ain't just the Mexicans.
Right.
They gonna say, don't trust the niggas. You can set up shop in their neighborhood and suck the blood, the money out of their community or whatever, but don't treat them like human beings. Don't trust them. Don't give a fuck about, you know what I'm saying? You know, the Asians that'll blow our little sister's head off, and then when they come in our store, like, so it's because the real enemy is against us.
Right.
They know, like you said, what's the difference? You don't hear the Mexicans speaking up for us. That's because we're the parents. Like, if you're a parent, you're responsible for your races, the offsprings that you produce. Right. You have a natural parental, you know, responsibility or obligation to do for your children what your children ain't gonna initiate doing for you. Mm-hmm. Children gonna be like, shit, I didn't ask to be here. You brought me here. You supposed to do that.
Right.
And we don't understand that we look into our children like they supposed to parent us. They supposed to step up and take the lead and you know, being a bigger person or coming to the table on something. You know, if your child, you didn't raise your child to be a mass murderer or a gang member or whatever, like, but you still gonna be like, okay, let me try to initiate and find out what's going on with my child because my child went astray. Your child ain't gonna be like, I'm gonna initiate, you know, whatever with my parents. No, I'm out here doing the dirt. Like, my parents got to figure out why I'm doing this dirt. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we don't see our natural role as the mothers and fathers of civilization. We just stuck on the battlefield of this nigga did this to me. I got to get him back. I got to do this. I got to do that. And that keeps us distracted for our whole life until we cancel each other out. And the ones that playing us like remote control video games get to laugh. And when the smoke clear and the dust settle and niggas and Mexicans and crack wetbacks and niggas is cancel each other out, then they come and take the spoils of war and laugh right back to the bank and do this to another community, do this to another country. So until we, verbalize it, you know what I'm saying? Because the truth is what's gonna make you pause and do something different.
That's right. That's right. And everything you said was 100. Man, you couldn't have said it no better. I couldn't have said it no better. But just like you telling me that as an older brother of mine, they need to be telling their people that too. Because what I don't see is black people harming civilian Mexicans. I don't see that. It just don't happen. We don't do that. We don't do to them what they did to us. Now, when you use the parent to child analogy, that's beautiful. But I could talk to my child if they're doing wrong. I can't talk to them. We can't talk to them essays out there for doing what they do. You know what I mean? I mean, what is it? What was it? Boyle Heights, I think it was.
You can't talk to them like so. It's like I said. It's a reason why the Nation of Islam has the respect that we got. We got the respect with all races. We got the respect from the slave master, but our black people don't want to come on board with the discipline. You know what I'm saying? They want their own lawlessness to do things their own way, which is the problem, right? So what is the real honor of blood and cripping? Like, you know what I'm saying? I just told you where it all came from. It's all really spinoffs and rebellious splinters of people that came from the Nation of Islam teachings that splintered into the Black Panthers because they didn't want to keep up the discipline. They didn't want to eat right. They wanted to still do their drugs. They wanted to carry their weapons. They didn't want to do certain disciplines that the Nation of Islam successfully proves. This is the method. This is the only path that has been this successful. That we're not saying we don't retaliate. Like, it's history. Like, we dance, but we wise and we know how to dance. So white people don't abuse us like they abuse niggas or Bloods or Crips or whoever. Like, the white police don't do us like that. They want to, but why don't they do it? So ignorant niggas gonna say, oh, that's because y'all in cahoots with the white man, and some white man is the one that started the nation. Oh, okay. Well, you gonna come up with whatever you gonna come up with. But in the meantime, our women and children and males is safe and healthy, militant, united, you know what I'm saying, strong, intelligent, progressive. So whatever we doing, we the one taught you that they was the devil. But now we in cahoots with them or whatever. Like, so you're going to believe whatever you're going to believe, but the proof is in the pudding. Black people don't want discipline. They don't want righteous discipline. They don't want to be held accountable, you know what I'm saying, for their actions and whatever. They want to do whatever they want to do. So that's the consequences. You can't go step and force respect with another nation when they see that you ain't got your own shit in order. Y'all fighting each other worse than you talking about we fighting you. So ain't nobody gonna listen to that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I ain't no Muslim. I ain't gonna get in, y'all killed Malcolm or y'all, they're gonna have all kind of, all right, do your thing. Our job is just to deliver the message and be the example. So you won't be able to say that you didn't know or you didn't know, here, and your blood is off our hands. That's what the Red Sea, the parting of the Red Sea even means. That's symbolic language. Red Sea means bloodshed. Red Sea means a race war.
Right.
And Moses and Aaron represent Elijah, Muhammad, and Farrakhan. We are the real slave people, 400 years slaves. That never happened in history. That Bible story of slaves, that never happened in history. That's a prophecy about us.
Right.
So the Red Sea is us, Moses and Aaron, or Elijah, Muhammad, and Farrakhan's people that agreed with him. We're not perfect, but we agreed to follow that example. And it's going to come a time as we coming up right now with Trump and Biden and all this shit that's going on. It's going to be a clash, a race war, blood sea. Sea just means masses of people. And we're going to be able to go through that. That's going to part because we actually got respect from clans and neo-Nazis and all that. We got respect from Mexicans. We got respect from black people. Like, everybody know where we stand already. We're not punks. We didn't dance with each group, and they know what we represent. I don't want to be with y'all white people, so let us go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cool. You know, we ain't no problem with the Muslims. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got, everybody gonna say we ain't got no problem with the Muslims. Let them go. We got a problem with these niggas that fighting, you know, that's getting caught up in this emotional war shit. So that's what that really means.
Mm.
If you're not wise enough and disciplined enough to know the organization and the unity that you're supposed to have, and the example that been the best example in the history of the world, ain't no better example than the Nation of Islam.
Right.
Every false crime has been debunked. The Malcolm, the Elijah Muhammad, all that's been debunked. Their own family members, Malcolm's daughters and family members, and FBI sealed files for 50 years, all prove that the government did that to Malcolm.
That's
you got the history of, you know, of Elijah Muhammad's children and wives, you know, because they really pushing this pedo, all this kind of stuff. Like, we got all of the receipts, but our people still ain't trying to hear it. So, okay, keep doing your non-unity, non-discipline, and you're going to get what the Mexicans got for you. You're going to get what these crackers got for you. You're going to get what these Jews got for you. You're going to get what these Asians got for you. You're going to get what they all got for you.
You know what? You said it. I got one more question on this topic before I got a few more, but I got one more.
I'm with you, old school, as long, you know, because you can cut it up however you want to cut it up. So
yeah, no, this gonna be the way, you know, you speaking. I'm letting you do your thing, man. That's why I brought you on. You know what I mean? I like I told you, man, I don't look at you as just no rapper. I learned shit from you too, through your music and how you get in. But this last question on this topic is, do you think our leadership have been bought and paid for?
Absolutely. Not saying, I'm talking about the known ones, the commercially known ones.
Right.
The real leaders is people like you and me, fathers, people that's trying to, you know, do our natural, righteous, moral role in our own house. The first leader is in the house, called the parents.
That's right.
You can't be no better leader, you know, unless you're a good leader in the house.
Right.
Just the fact that you present, like you said when we first got on here, like, you know, my children, you know, wifey and the children, like, okay, that's a leader right there.
Right.
So
right.
you already set the tone for the solution.
Right.
You didn't sell out on your family. You didn't sell out on your woman. You didn't sell out on your children. You the leader that we need.
Right. Right.
So everybody else that we looking to on the TV, on politics and all of that, yeah, they've been prostitutes. They've been bought and sold. You know, the leader that I'm gonna say Farrakhan. So
right.
His track record is unquestioned, but he's
right.
91 years old. So how much more leading can he do for us that we ain't supposed to have now be able to do for ourselves?
Now, let me ask you this. This is a little bit. I gotta ask you this, man. As a man coming from the same environmental background that I come from, how does it feel to sit and shake hands and have a conversation with the minister?
And it just reminds you of your own divinity. It reminds you that God is in you, right? He just reminds you of any of your favorite grandmother, your favorite grandfather, any person of in your life when you was a child that you really just loved. That's him.
Right.
He gonna remind you of that, and he gonna give you information, wisdom, and revelation, because you know your grandparents or your granny or your whoever, you know they loved you, and sometimes it ain't about their wisdom that come out their mouth. It's just they hug and their presence, like, you know, like, oh shit, like that's it.
Right, that's
it. He know how to put words to it. He's that plus the words that's gonna carry you for the rest of your life. So
Right.
And it just reminds you that you must be a God also, like the Bible says you're all gods, because you understand it. If you wasn't what he like, take one to know one. So it just reminds you of your innocence and your unlimited potential as a God. You know what I'm saying? And you're not here for no reason. You got a real purpose bigger than anybody, you know, ever thought you did, and remind you that that you wasn't just born to live and die like everybody else. It just reminds you of your divine, like eternal value. Like it's hard to explain it, but
no, but you did that though. You explained it. You explained it. I got exactly what you're talking about. You know, I was fortunate to meet and rock with Tony Muhammad, but the closest person I would say to me, man, and I won't even say it's the closest to Farrakhan, but Shaheed, man, rest in peace. That was my brother, man. I love and I truly miss Cap. We call him Cap, you know what I mean? But that was my guy. You know, Cap would cuss you out. He was in the streets. You know what I mean? He did his thing. And I respected Cap. And brothers like yourself and Cap those types of demeanors and attitudes is what recruited brothers to the Nation of Islam. You see what I'm saying? Because we gotta see somebody that we identify with. You know what I mean? You as a street dude, we could tell that. You know what I mean? As I'm about to get into, we could tell. Oh man, he with the Nation, but he looked like he one of us. He throws something up. We don't know what it is, but he one of us. So okay, we could rock with this, and that's what fostered us into that. You know what I mean? But again, I don't want to harp on that too much longer because we could be on that all day. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
I'm not trying to say that you have to be a Muslim. I'm not saying that. I'm saying unite with the tried and true group of your own. Like, all of us are supposed to find our own. Unite with your own kind.
Right.
That don't mean anti nobody else kind.
Right.
But our strength is in our unity. That's the force that holds atoms and molecules together that can even make a human body.
Right.
We are all divine cells, like blood cells of a divine organism called the body of God, a body of Christ, Allah, whoever you believe in. But the success is in the unity of these things that's holding the body together.
Right.
We've been taught that we're supposed to be individuals. Go for them, man. Do for self, like selfish. Do for only yourself. That's not what it's about.
Right.
So it's not about religion. Like Nation of Islam is just an Arabic word, which is our original language. One of our original languages. It just means submission to truth. It means mathematics.
Right.
It ain't spooky God and ghost fairy tale stories and that. No, it's science of the original human being and the sciences of everything in life that can be proven. So anytime you hear Islam or Nation of Islam suit and bow tie, we're not into no spooky ghost prayers and beliefs and all that. Ours is 100% provable, natural science and facts and reality, and what we must do to be successful against whatever opponent or adversary that we up against. That's all it is.
That's what's up. Now we gotta switch it up and get to the artistic side. Artistic, not autistic. Artistic. You know what I mean? At what age did you realize you was gifted on the mic, man?
Gifted. I wouldn't say I never really realized I was gifted. It wasn't a mic.
You know why I say gifted? Let me tell you why I say gifted. Because when you like I told you, man, my favorite song is "Still Got Love for Him." That's in rotation. When I pull that tray out, that's what I'm bumping. You know what I mean? It got an old school vibe to it, but your flows, whenever you can tell a story with your lyrics, man, you gifted. That's a gift. You
Right.
know
No,
what I mean?
I agree. I just didn't see it as that because
Right.
growing up when I was little, like that was my escape. I told you my childhood was traumatic. So I used to draw, right? So I always knew how to draw. I had a gift of knowing how to draw, and then I had a gift of knowing how to write poetry,
Right.
right? This is before rap ever started. So I didn't know that I was being prepared, like, to know how to tell a story or paint a picture with words, right? Because I couldn't sing, I couldn't play no instrument, so I wasn't gonna be a music star. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Right.
then when the rap thing hit in the mid '80s, it was like, oh, what is that? You ain't got to know how to sing, you ain't got to know how to play no instrument. All you got to know how to do is stay on beat and say some words that rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what got me open, like, Sugar Hill Gang or whatever, Rappers Delight. But then after that, Melly Mel, Grandmaster, the message and all, and then Run DMC and all that type of stuff. So I was a fan from day one, but I didn't ever really try to do it until like maybe 86, 87, when I started seeing people from my peer group and my age group, Cubes and Easies and you know, stuff like that, and Compton Mixed Master Spades and Toddy T's and K-Day. Once I start seeing that, then I start trying to do it myself.
Right. Right. Now, when you just gave a timeline on those groups, what you think about these other ethnic groups trying to say they had a hand in starting hip hop?
Well, you can go back on record into the '40s, the 1940s. It's YouTube videos of, I forgot the name of the group, in 1940s. And it's
Pig
black.
Meat Markham. I think it was Pig Meat Markham, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Pig Meat.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's a few brothers, 4 or 5 brothers with
Yeah.
suits on, with little conch hairdos
Yeah.
or whatever, finger wave, whatever they was doing back then. And they was rapping in the '40s,
Right.
right? So once it hit the Bronx, and once uh, Puerto Rican, black and Puerto Ricans, like they did play a part in the modern version, and which was called hip hop. But rapping, black people was already doing back, in the '40s, really in slavery.
So do you think they deserve credit on
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah.
contribution to hip hop?
In contribution, yeah. Anybody that's in hip hop that does it well, that entertains us, that's adding value to it, has contributed to it. But you're not the creator of it.
No, but see, that's what they saying. They saying that they help create it.
Not
Our
rap.
brother Tariq Nasheed, he got a video called Microphone Check. Because
Right.
you got the Fat Joes and all of them. They saying that we got it from them.
No, no. Rap, like hip hop, is a few things, right? So rap came from blacks.
Right.
Rapping came from blacks. If you're talking about graffiti and DJ and all that, yeah, that might have came from other ethnic backgrounds or whatever. But
I
rap,
would say, I would, not to cut you off, brother. I would say all of that came from us. Because it's I forget how many elements of hip hop it is. They say it's
five,
say it again.
I think it's 5, right? Something
Okay,
like that.
however many is b-boying, graffiti, breakdancing, the way
DJ,
we dress,
DJ, DJing and rap.
DJing, and it's something else. You know what I mean? I can't know them, but that came from us, right? And we need to put a lockdown on our culture because if just like our sister Beyonce, she trying to do
Country.
that country song. They letting her know she ain't welcome in that.
You know,
They letting her know.
black people created country music.
We know that. We know that. But just like they got a hold of country right now, we think that country music came from white folks.
Mm.
Our great grandkids gonna think hip hop came from everybody else except for us the same way. You
Okay,
see what I'm saying?
and this is the value of, like I said, the knowledge of self. It
Right.
goes from gang banging. It goes from black Brown penitentiary wars and whatever, it's still gonna come down to the knowledge of who produced who. As long as we swinging on the branches and the leaves and the fruits, we're gonna always just be arguing. So if another race produced anything, I can always say, well, who produced that race?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever you produce, if I produced you, I produced that you produced because I produced you.
Right.
So I don't need to argue about that. I don't need to feel like you threatening or you taking something from me when we agree that I produced you. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I don't even gotta waste my time thinking about that. Whatever you produce, like your sons or daughters, whatever they create, whatever they invent, you ain't got to compete with them. You're gonna be like, yeah, I made him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not even an argument. It's like, cool, if you did do that, yeah, well, I'm the one that made you able to do that. So you wouldn't even be here and shit if I didn't make it.
Right. Now, you know what? We definitely gonna have to do a part 2. I got a few more questions for you, man. Just a few. I ain't gonna hold you. Right now, how did you get that connect with Ice Cube, man? How did that begin and start?
I would say it started through one of my young homies named Little D from East Coast, from 1180 East Coast. And my homie and Randy.
Shout out to the East Coast.
Yeah. And it's a combination thing because it was that plus my homie Solo, who is Franklin now, Cam is but he Franklin on Grand Theft Auto. So GTA. So him and then my homie big homie Mo from Watts, and big homie Big Jess. It was like a collaborate. We was doing our own thing in the street, like Street Little Money, doing our own music thing, putting our own little independent project together. But Solo, kind of was indirectly dealing with somebody that was dealing with Cube, that was from UG, you know what I'm saying? The homegirl Ebony. So long story short, like we was all on the come up doing the rap thing, and it just so happened, like, he was trying to, we heard Cube was going solo. He had just went solo and was did Kill It Wheel or something, and he was working on putting artists out. Or he had Yo-Yo, he had Lynch Mob, and he had I think them was the only people that he had at the time. And it just so happened that, like I said, we was at the right place at the right time. We was working on some stuff we was working on, and Solo was, periodically, like, trying to put a little bug and connect, and tell Cube or get up with Cube and tell him about me. So we just happened to be at a studio one day, Echo Sound, in Los Feliz, and we was working on our stuff, and he was in the next room working on his stuff, and kind of connected the dots then. So it was a collaboration. But like I said, my homie Lil D, my homie Randy, Solo that's who made it, and my homegirl Ebony, who really made the connection. And then once we made that connection, and me and Cube established our own communications, and I started, he was interested in like what we talking about, like just having brotherhood conversations about what I was into, which is, like nation stuff and street and how that's related, and Cap, Shahi, Allah be pleased, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's my captain. That's, I was I was his right hand, lieutenant, muscle man, you know what I'm saying, on certain things, whatever, right? So just that fascination. Cube was kind of fascinated with that. It was real interesting and real beneficial for him. And of course, I'm fascinated with what he into and what he accomplished so far, being Cube. And he was one of my favorite, and still is one of my favorite rappers and writers or whatever. So so we both was benefiting each other. I was putting him on certain things, and he was putting me on this music thing, and we developed a relationship like that, and we made history. So, and the us bumping heads. I know you're gonna get to that in a second, but
yeah, that was my next question. For those that don't know, what was the disagreement that caused you guys to part ways?
I would say in hindsight, it had a lot to do with COINTELPRO stuff. With some characters on my side and probably some characters on his side that was in his ear in a certain kind of way. But what initially was the issue with me is how, rest in peace, Shorty from the Lynch Mob, and Allah be pleased with brother Jerome Muhammad. He has some complaints. JD, shouts out to JD. He just touched down, so I've been in contact with JD. They had certain issues with Cube. At that time, not supporting them in the way that they felt like they should be supported. And Cube was learning the music business, but he was learning it from the experience of how he just got done by Eazy-E or Jerry Heller or whatever. So they was feeling like, he was just redoing the same type of thing, that was done to him. And so Cube never did me like that, right? So it was me kind of seeing or thinking that I'm seeing that he was doing somebody else like that, right? But then his argument was like, I created them though. I gave them their image, I gave them their look, I wrote their rhymes. So he had a point on that. But me on some street stuff, like it's just a certain way that it ain't about, that's just how the business goes. You're supposed to treat a human being a certain kind of way. You can't just handle a human being just because employer, or you the one turned them on to this. So it was, it felt like it was like a God complex, you know what I'm saying, that I wasn't with, because I seen that all my life coming up in a Christian household of hypocrites, people that's faking that they really superior to you for this reason and that reason. So my natural little rebellious nature kicked in and shit. So I kind of like rode for them, because they didn't seem like they had the strength or courage or whatever to ride for themselves or speak up for themselves. So that started it. So then I kind of like just, and you ain't even doing nothing. You ain't even, doing nothing you ain't really promoted me. You ain't ever took me on no tour. You ain't ever promoted my project. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just me inserting myself into my brothers and sisters' pain and shit. So I just took the fade for them, and that started it.
That's what's up. Not a W.
Watch where you going. You taking all my shots like the W you took from me. Nigga stand for what?
Was that stolen from you from him? Because that stand for Watts. We all know that now from the song Woo Woo.
Right.
So, do you feel that was stolen from you, or was that your creative way of being an artist?
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff that was taken from me, right? That it wouldn't have been a problem if you just acknowledged it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you acknowledge where it came from, then it's all good. But don't write me out of history. Act like you didn't get so much of your style and so much of your words. And even, he had a company called Ghetto Bird Films or something like that. And that came from my song Drama. You know what I'm saying? I ain't ever said a word, but all of a sudden I'm under the Ghetto Bird. And so, he would take stuff from my East Side lingo and my East Side experience, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That he can hurry up and put out, that I wouldn't be able to hurry up and put out. So it's going to look like he created or he came up with it. And that was, JD and other people's complaint also.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because, as an artist, you're supposed to soak up what's your environment and hurry up and put it out there, but you're supposed to give the people credit.
Pay homage.
Yeah, or because that's plagiarism or theft if you don't, or at least take care of them in a way that that's just, if you making millions off of something that you got from your clique or your brothers, then make sure they got
make sure they got something.
A nice percentage of their millions. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Now,
it turned into that.
do you think your beef with him caused you to be blackballed in the industry?
Yeah, of course. And I'm not saying it's from him,
Right,
even though there was some cases that but it's from people who want to do business with him. So
right,
it don't
right,
necessarily mean it's him saying if Cam is on this, I ain't messing with it, or it could be people that know that we have an issue and they say, well, I don't want to disturb my cash cow, so Cam can't be a part of nothing that Cube is ever a part of.
right, 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 right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was more than that, you know what I'm saying? It was much more than that. And also, I'm another black person can't blackball me.
Right,
It would
right,
have to be a small hat. It would have to be a pink person to
right. There you go. There you
blackball.
But you
Because
know what,
another
man?
black person ain't got the power to blackball.
Right, right. I can't end without saying this though, man. You went up against a giant. Because, like I said, man, Ice Cube he still is one of my favorite rappers. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And him ushering you in the game, that made you one of the giants too. You know what I mean? Because you can't really look at Cube career without seeing Yo, yourself, KD, and all all of everybody that came, Mac 10, especially Mac 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't leave Mac out.
Yeah.
You can't do that. But you went up against him, man, and I'm gonna be real, just on some real shit. You won that. You won that. You know what I mean? That whoop whoop. That was like no Vaseline. That's up there with no Vaseline. Hit them up. You know what I mean? Them is some diss tracks that go down in history. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
not like us, like the Kendrick, like the current one. The
Yeah,
Kendrick.
yeah, like they not like us, not like us. You know what I mean? But you went in detail though. You went into detail, and when you did that, I got to speak on this. When you did that, man, that let us know. Because prior to that, we didn't know the W. We thought the W was West Side Connection. You know what I mean? When you put all that out, it was more so we was listening to that like this versus dancing. You know what I mean? We listening, damn, what he talking? Ooh, you know what I mean? And when you said you taking all my shots like the W you took from me, fool, that's there for watch.
Yeah.
We like, damn. Cause I know I was, man. If I'm like that, I listen. You know, I ain't the only one. I picked it up. So with that, man, you're a champion. You know what I mean? And man, listen, what you got going on now? What's your new stuff coming up? You know what I mean?
Right now, I got a project with the legendary Battle Cat, DJ Battle Cat. We got a whole project that we've been working on. We had it done, but we've been updating and adding stuff to it. Salute to Battle Cat. We don't have a title for the project, but I've been kind of releasing singles. So we released like 3 singles over the past few months. The most recent one is a song called Positivity, and that's featuring legendary R&B great Howard Johnson and legendary female group singer The Emotions daughter. One of their daughters named YN Bond. So.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a grown and sexy, you know what I'm saying, mature 50-year-old club rap. And that's just the vibe that I'm on. If you can see my background called Black Husband Gang,
Right.
I'm not really talking about nothing that I talked about. Well, I'm not trying to compete with what youngsters is rapping about.
Right.
I'm rapping about my reality as a father, a husband, a grandfather, somebody that's been 30 years, 33 years in this game, somebody that's been 33 years making war against real enemy, the real beast, the stuff that's going on in the world with Israel and Palestine. And, I've been always representing real social commentary, and attacking the real ills, social ills and stuff that's going on with our people and then with all people. So this album project with Battle Cat is way more mature. Is dealing with more relationship issues, you know what I'm saying? The relationship of male and female, and the relationship of community and nation and stuff like that. So it's not, I don't expect teenagers or youngsters or whatever to really get with it, because part of the COINTELPRO agenda is to divide us, you know what I'm saying? A generation gap to make us think that we age out, you know, in rap, when we supposed to be able to go on tour just like Willie Nelson or whatever. We supposed to be 70, 80 years old and still performing our songs, especially if the song is quality, their content, they're talking about something.
Right.
So all my songs always, you know, had quality and content. They was timeless. That's why, you know, they still last. But I don't want to just rely on old music. I'm not trying to re-stimulate or revive my rap career. I'm already a legend. I'm already, you know, solidified in that. But I also want to show that we can get better with age, and when it comes to the music that we do in this rap thing, right? So a lot of people my age try to put music out, like, and they you know, they fell off, and they just like, you know, you give it up.
Right.
But it's a few of us that, to me, seem like we get better, you know, or get better with our age. So I'm trying to represent that, to give other people my age hope and inspiration. Like, you're not washed up. It's a whole big genre, whole big, you know, fan base of people that's in the 50 club that want to go to, you know, a jazz festival or something like that, and don't feel like no senior citizen because somebody up there looking young and really still bobbing, bouncing, and, you know what I'm saying, and we groove into rap, this, you know, and you know, that represents the, you know, our life experience. So that's where we at. You know, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing podcasting, you know, same thing that you doing, called, you know, Black Husband.
Tell them where they can find your podcast, man.
Well, right now it's in production. It's in pre-production, so you can't find it nowhere yet. But I got a podcast with my homie Uncle Hen that's called Disruptive Thinking. So we're gonna be tackling all of these subjects. You know, I got another. Well, I just say that, and I got another situation with my homegirl, Shar Curry. Yeah. So that's the Says What She Wants campaign podcast, and we really talking about male-female relationships, especially black male-female relationships. So that's the number one subject right now.
Right.
Because, you know, relationships is everything. Family is everything. It's not the bag.
Right.
The bag is your family. The bag is your health and your family. So we on that. We trying to normalize that and popularize that.
That's right. Now, before we get out of here, I want to tell you, man, that positivity song that's in rotation right now too. But I also, man, I'm telling you, that verse you did on Legend in my section.
In reflection, I always been ahead of my time. And on the section, I'm a living legend in mine ever since the Black Acura. I done been a factor, bro. I ain't on your page, and I don't age like Dracula.
That's my one right there. When you said I don't age like Dracula, I was like, oh, hey, you know what I mean? Hey, that's what's up though, man. But I ain't gonna hold you too much longer, man. I appreciate you for blessing my platform, Cam. You're a legend, homie. You don't know what it means for me to have you on my platform. I'm gonna just say that. You know what I mean? Because, hey, bro, I follow you. I listen to you. And, you know, I grew up on you. I ain't grow up too much, but I was a young dude when and I got to say this, man. This is why I say you're a real one, man. I don't know. It was probably the 98, 99. I was riding down Rosecrans, man, in Hawthorne. I seen you. Hey, man, what's up? Because I was trying to be a rapper too. This one, you was on your thing, man. And you hop right out. I'm in the green Elko. You hop right out and chopped it up with me for a little bit. You know what I mean? And I'm like, my nigga, a real one. He a real one. You know, because celebrities don't do that. You know what I mean? You got to be in the streets to hop out. And plus, that was in my time when I was in the streets. You know what I mean? But we was the same people. You know what I mean? You familiar with the gang culture, so
Yeah.
you know you recognize me as your brother, and you hopped out and you politicked with me for a little bit. You know what I mean? And I appreciated that. That's why I always held you in high regard, homie. And I appreciate you. I look up to you, and I salute you on everything that you do, man. And again, I appreciate you for blessing my platform. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm glad you claimed to bless. Let's talk shop with old school. And in the future, we got to do this again. We got to have a part 2 because I ain't get everything out. You got so much knowledge, you kept it going. But that's what's up, though. But you enjoy the rest of your day, Cam, and spend it with your family, man. And I love you, brother. You do your thing, and we gonna chop it up. All right.
Yeah, love you too, old school, and let's talk shop more often. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you want me on, man, I'm there. You know,
That's
we got
what's up.
potent subjects to talk about. Everybody ain't gonna like it, they ain't gonna agree, but we gonna give them the truth. We gonna give them real content. So it's my pleasure, my honor, and I thank you and love you, bro, for having me on.
That's what's up, brother. We gonna holler.
You have no idea.